Welcome back to Villa TV for our post-game show. A 2-1 win for Aston Villa over Leicester City. Aston Villa now unbeaten in their last 10 Premier League games at Villa Park. Their best run in more than a year. A couple of goals for Villa from Ross Barkley and Leon Bailey. Celebration scenes there after the final whistle at Villa Park. And a key goal for that man in picture, Leon Bailey, of course, to seal the win. My name is Kate Tracey, and returning is Alan McInally. How did you enjoy that?
It was nervous, wasn't it? I did think when we spoke pre-match, I thought it was going to be tight. They're coming here obviously not to get beat, and although we took the lead, they scored a good goal. To be fair to them, they put a lot of pressure on us, but it was. I think we were the better team. I don't think there's any question about that. But just sometimes we can just make it look as though we're making it hard for ourselves. Listen, there's been a lot of games. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. It's a huge result for us today. I spoke constantly about, forget about the performance, it's more about the result. We got 3 points. It's absolutely huge.
They were your words, weren't they? That forget all of the, well, not obviously forget the performance side. We still want to see a good performance, but the main target today was getting those 3 points after the draw against Brighton, just to get that winning feeling back again, to start 2025 in the best way. And like you say, we knew it was going to be a tight game. You said that beforehand. We were both sat here watching it, and it was a tight game throughout. But just finding the breakthroughs when they were necessary in the second half of Villa.
Yeah, and to be fair, although we had one shot in the first half, I think, if you remember,
Yes.
Matty Cash had the dig and goalkeeper made a decent save. That was really all we had to show for it, really, apart from a couple of little instances where maybe our final pass could have been a little bit better. But regardless of that, and by the way, this is through losing John McGinn after 12, 15 minutes.
Yes.
And we're thinking Jacob Ramsey's coming back. All of a sudden, he's thrown into the fray. I thought he did well. I thought he did really well. I think he got tired towards the end of the game. But nevertheless, it's a really big game. Yeah, the game went exactly as I thought it might be. It'll be really tight. They'll create a couple of chances. I thought I thought Matty Cash was excellent at fullback, by the way. I mean, he was excellent. So was Yuri Tielemans in the middle of the park. And I will mention Ross Barkley. I talked about moving the ball quickly. I talked about keeping possession. I talked about not giving the ball away. And I thought he did really well. And he's only bagged a goal. It's absolutely fantastic. And getting the ball forward, making them defend. I think we can still do that more, especially in the last 15, 20 minutes, when we've got a player up top in Ollie Watkins that holds the ball up so well. He was fantastic. I know he'll probably be sitting in the dressing room right now cursing himself that the left peg chance he had and he put it over the bar, Kate. Yeah. But nevertheless, I thought his hold-up play and relief play for us to keep possession, I thought was first class.
Yeah, there were so many areas of the pitch, like I say, that they didn't necessarily get the rewards that they probably deserved then in terms of the end product. But in terms of the first half, of course, we were going into this game with injury issues, with suspension issues as well. Ross Barkley was in because of Morgan Rogers then being out through suspension. And it was great to see him getting that first start. And he's been a bit of an unsung hero throughout because he controls, he progressives plays throughout. And we saw that to the epitome of it. You kept commenting in the first half. Ross Barkley is 100% with his pass accuracy so far.
Yeah, well, my eye is drawn to someone who I think is an important player for us in the day. And I don't think for any... I spoke about him specifically because in the position he plays today, that was going to be so important for us. We don't have Morgan to drill the ball and drive the ball. We've lost John McGinn early. We don't have Morgan Rogers to drag the ball 25 yards up the pitch. So our possession has to be better, and we have to get the ball into a wider area quicker and move the ball quick through midfield. And I thought Ross did that really well. Like I said, Taylor was a good. Boubacar Kamara did his normal job. He sits and he defends for us in terms of midfield play. But I still think we can have more from the flanks. I mean, to be fair to Leon Bailey, okay in the first half. Again, his end product, I'm like, come on then.
He's looking at a frustrated figure. We saw it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just below us here, where he actually thumped the ground at one point. He was looking at a frustrated figure in the first half.
But then again, I take my hat off to him because he's sitting in the dressing room at halftime thinking, come on, Leon. Come on, kid. Get it on. I'm saying he's speaking to himself, obviously. And then, of course, in the second half, I'd said to you after about 20 minutes, not been in the game yet, has he? Really hasn't. And then lights the place up because he doesn't dwell on the back post, gets across the defender, gets right across Ollie Watkins, by the way. I will say about when we make substitutions, how effective they have to try and be. And I thought Ian Maatsen did exactly what he was brought on for, is move the ball forward, defend when you need to naturally, but when we've got the ball, get yourself forward, and that's exactly what he did.
And Ian Maatsen, we know how talented he is. Of course, he played in the Champions League final last year, but we haven't seen him getting as many minutes as perhaps plenty of us expected. A positive reason, because Luca Dean has been so good. But again, we said to each other, okay, just need a little bit of something, don't we? A little bit of spice. Who do you bring on? Because, of course, we haven't got John Duran to bring on. We haven't got Morgan Rogers to bring on. You know, Ross Barkley's already on the pitch. Amadou Onana, Ian Maatsen, we've got them to bring on. Ian Maatsen then came on. And like you just said there, he made the world of difference. His pace, he is one of our paciest players.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he was able to use it.
He's also got a positive attacking thought, genuinely. Anytime, where was he? Burnley. Remember, he was at Burnley on loan or something, whatever. Yeah. And he was sensational that season for them, getting forward and knowing exactly what his job was. And obviously the manager said to him, go make a difference. Go on, when we get the ball, I want you to go forward. And his link-up play was very good. Buendia, I think, can do a little more when he comes on, because he's got a talent that we know about, that he's a game winner for us. But I thought he could maybe it's just his timing was a little off. His end product might have not been trying to thread the needle a little bit. And I'm being kind of overcritical of the lads. The day was about us winning 3 points. There was absolutely no question about that. We spoke about it before the game, and the boys have delivered. There'll be tired legs in that dressing room, and the good news is we now have 4 or 5 days before we get to the FA Cup game against West Ham next Friday night. So hopefully we'll be well and truly recharged. But that was a big day for us today. You know, Leicester are struggling. They're coming here hoping to nick something. In fact, at 1-1, I was like, right, okay, don't concede. What was it, 10, 12 minutes later on? To be fair, they scored a good goal. Okay, it was good. I mean, Ollie will be kicking himself because the ball back was the first time he never got it back to a man and left it in no man's land. And then, to be fair to Jordan Ayew, I thought he did really well for the goal and created for them. But nevertheless, we still rolled our sleeves up and didn't let that affect us. You know, that can affect teams, you know, when things are not going great for us, etc., etc. And it just shows you in terms of resilience what the manager wants when he speaks about us at Villa Park. We have to make this and be more consistent, and we have to make this a place that, you know, people go down the M6 with absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes between Barkley's goal and Mavididi scoring in the 63rd minute, of course, before then Bailey came back and scored in the 76th minute. But the things we talked about in the pre-match show, we said, right, we want Villa not to concede any early goals. They were resolute in that first half. Yeah. Like I say, there weren't many shots on target for either side in that first half. So that was a job ticked off straight away. Yeah. Again then, for the second half. One thing though, where we thought, oh gosh, really hope now that they've in 5 minutes time managed to claw back a goal, haven't kept. Also, score prediction, you got it spot on, didn't you?
Well, yeah, only because I thought it would be tight. And even at 1-1, I was like, I better get this right, because we obviously need to get a goal. And I will say, I'll mention him again, because I can be critical of him, because as a forward player, I used to rely on wide areas to create chances for me. And I look at left and right for us. And Bailey, there's no question, he is a match winner for us if he's on it, doing the right things. And I will say, he didn't hide today. He didn't hide at all. There was a couple of times where, when we have the ball in the middle of the park, I want him to come out to the touchline and give us even more width, so that we have then an opportunity to play something in between fullback and centre-back. Or, if the fullback doesn't go with him, we can get him the ball early and he can do his thing. That'd be the only time where I'm not critical, but I'm like, you can make it easier for yourself. Yeah. And give us an out in the game sometimes by his positioning. But I've got to say, he wasn't dreaming, sleeping at the back post. He was part of the goal, and he made Ian Maatsen's mind up for him, because Ian looking up and he sees him making his run across him, and he has a really good goal. It was a good result for us.
And you said how well he had done to beat his defender there. Of course, from your position,
really well.
You know better than anyone of how intricate that actually is as a move.
As a striker sometimes, or as a wide player, when you're making a run, you can't just get to the defender. You've got to almost go beyond the defender. If you go beyond the defender, there's nothing the defender can do about it. If you go beyond the defender, you've got a better chance of winning the ball. You've got a better chance of hooking one in. But not only that, if you both miss it and it goes behind you, I'm expecting support to be coming from us. So in that sense, I think it was really good by us today. Genuinely really good. I think the manager will be overly delighted tonight, because he knows we didn't play brilliant, but he knows it's a huge 3 points.
There were those little things that have been fixed in that game, it seems like. We spoke about it beforehand, just little intricate things that you want to see fixed, where, like you say, not conceding a goal early, starting the second half very well, not conceding then in the final 10 minutes when you're at home. And again, we did have a few little nerves, probably memories of that, but they are two big things that already Villa have managed to fix. And the overall control, the other thing we were saying we wanted to see beforehand, was just that overall control. It felt a lot more controlled throughout this game.
I think so. Having said that, remember, it's always going to be nervy when you get into the 83rd, 84th minute, and then you go into, what was it, +5, I think, today for the lads. So there's a couple of things we take out. Goalkeeper looked rock solid. Of course he does. He's Emi Martinez. He's the best in the world. 2 centre-backs. Ezra and Tyrone were good. There's a couple of times Ezra, I think, can get to the ball quicker and make things easy for him, although he's looking to be fouled at times, and he draws the foul quite well. I thought Tyrone was fantastic. You know, he hasn't been a big part of it so far. He's coming back from injury. He's played a bit part. He was superb today. Right. You know, when he had to win a header, he did. If he had to get in front of the ball, he's a little unlucky for the ball that they scored for when AU plays it in between his legs. That can happen at times, to be fair, but it was a cross trying to stop the cross. But nevertheless, that was good. Middle of the park, we moved the ball, we kept the possession pretty good, and up top, I mean, people might be critical of Ollie because he didn't actually get a goal or something, Kate, but in terms of his play, in the last 10, 15 minutes, if you watch Ollie Watkins in the last 10, 15 minutes, he was in front of the defender. He was chesting the ball down to people. His touch was good. He was turning defenders. So if our lads are needing an out, that's where it goes. It goes forward, and we've got one of the best in the business. There wasn't much to be critical of us today, apart from the fact we only scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, more than
XG will not be lying.
I'm not talking about XG.
Wait until I bring that stat up. I haven't got it to hand right now, but just wait.
But in terms of, you know, because the manager will be critical, he'll watch the game and he'll criticise things of the game that we did. But overall, I think he'll be delighted because there was only one team going to be under massive pressure today, and it's us because A, we're chasing Europe, and B, Leicester are on a 4 or 5 streak where they haven't won a game. So we did what we had to do today. We get a nice 5 days off, and we look forward to the FA Cup game.
And to be fair, Leicester were chucking everything at Villa in terms of the substitutes for the final 10 minutes there. Probably Ruud van Nistelrooy fully aware that Villa have just been a little bit tentative in the final 10 minutes in a few games of late. So he was more than willing to chuck on a whole load of attacking presence onto the pitch. So they were going for it in those finals.
Oh, absolutely. No, Buonanotte and Daka come on, and, you know, forward strike, you know, forward-thinking people. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Vardy. I thought he played quite well today because he's always that intricate little passing. And he's the jack in the box that I thought that, you know, Tyrone and Ezra do really well by making sure, where is he? Make sure he doesn't get away from you, and make sure we know exactly where he is all the time. Because, you know, psychologically, Leicester are looking to try and include Vardy into anything they do going forward, and they do that quite a lot, regardless of how much they use AU on the right-hand side. It was a good performance. They've got plenty to be very proud of, Aston Villa, today, and I'm proud of the lads because there's a lot of tired legs. There's been a lot of games, and to be quite honest with you, it's a massive 3 points for us.
Now, let's throw it into the context of the wider picture then in terms of the Premier League table. So Aston Villa, we know how trappy it is, but they have moved up 1 place in the Premier League table to 8th. But that obviously doesn't give you the overall picture of the Premier League because they are only 3 points off of 5th. Newcastle in 5th, who won earlier on today. Now, Leicester are still in 19th on 14 points. They are 2 points from safety, Wolves in 17 there. So just starting with Leicester, I mean, did you see enough there to suspect that they might be safe this season, or do you think the writing's on the wall?
Now, you and I have been working...
This is Villa TV, it's not Leicester TV.
Well, no, I know, but I was going to say, you and I have been working together for quite a bit now, and that's probably the hardest question you've ever asked.
It's the first time I've ever seen you pause, to be fair.
For Ruud van Nistelrooy's sake, I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see what kind of business they do in January, which might be the catalyst for them to try and get enough points to stay in the league. Remember, you only have to be 17th. You have to be better than 3 other teams. Have we seen? I wish them all the best. I don't have anything against Leicester City, but, I mean, I suppose pushing us to the very brink at a 2-1 at Villa Park would think they've got something about them, and against a weaker team, they might just get something out of it, but they've certainly got a very, very, very big 4 or 5 months coming up.
They have, and it is. It's just the nature of the beast. Rather than Southampton, who have been cut adrift from about really the last few weeks, haven't they? So, but the whole rest of them, no one you can say in that bottom section is necessarily safe. If they suddenly get on a run, then it's going to be ideal.
Everton get beat today. I think Bournemouth beat them.
Did, yes.
So Bournemouth again. We were talking about Bournemouth. My goodness. So they're ahead of us. So they're absolutely flying
and
again.
We could have beaten them, but for a last-minute goal when they were here.
Yeah. So remember, we've got West Ham and FA Cup. Yep. Then we're away at Goodison, away at Arsenal. So there's 3 very big games coming up for us pretty soon.
And Aston Villa are in 8th then at present, as I say, 3 points off of 5th, where ideally, Villa really want to be aiming for. But that's no points tally, really, is it? And we've seen Newcastle, they can step up with games. I know that they're on a bit of a roll at present. They did get slightly fortunate earlier on then, potentially.
Maybe.
But we'll have that debate another day. But there's no points really separating these teams at present. 3 points. And we think about that, and not to hark back to it, but about that Bournemouth last-minute goal, about Forest, so many little sliding doors moments, which is the Premier League. And Villa, goodness knows where they could be. But
that's where you have to put your chin. You have to put your chin right there and take it right there. Give us your best shot. And sometimes you have to take a shot and you have to dust yourselves down and come back from it again. That's just certainly the nature of the Premier League. But in terms of, the 4th of January. 4th of Jan, and we're, what did you say, 3-5 points off a position where we would love to be at the end of the season, if not higher. There's a lot of football to come. We have now the January window open. Players will leave this brilliant football club and have the opportunity to play with Aston Villa, and they don't realise how big it's going to be yet. We have a manager directing us in the same place. I was saying to somebody the other day, when you have someone driving the boat or the club, you need someone. You don't need just someone sitting in the cabin. You need someone up in the crow's nest looking ahead. You need someone that can weave her way through, I don't know, other boats, icebergs, whatever it might be, other islands, to see the far away picture. And then that's where we get to our destination. There's no point bumping into things. You need someone that's going to put their head above the pulpit and say, I like that. That direction would suit us just nice. That's what we have. You don't realise it yet, but we have a manager in terms of Unai Emery that can direct us in a position that he thinks he can get us into a position at the end of the season where we'll all be happy. And sometimes it's just things don't go your way, and sometimes you need a bit of lady luck on your side. But we have the right manager directing us in an area right now where we're going, and he will enjoy his red wine tonight, that's for sure.
I also think we've created a new feature there, Alan's metaphors.
Yeah, I was trying.
That could be a new thing. I like that metaphor. No, great.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of. We talk about the players all the time because we watch the players all the time, and that's what we see. But remember, there's people who run the football club, and then we have a manager that's got something to do, and you've got Damien and Monchi who deal with the teams and bringing new players in. Where can we strengthen? Where are we weak? Where can we let people go because we need to strengthen in another direction? And the whole time, and I've worked with managers who were brilliant, or were a little bit, had their own idea and that wasn't doing the right thing, but continued to go down the same way. We have a manager generally that goes, right, we can't go that way, but I'll tell you, this way might be a good go. And he's been right so far. Give him the funds, let him, make us as strong as we possibly can, and let's hope we finish as high up the season as we can. I will mention again, it's the 4th of January, everybody. Happy New Year. But that's a wonderful result for us. And in terms of games to come, there'll be plenty of hard ones. There'll be bumps in the road, Kate, and you and I are going to watch every one of them. But there will be highs, hopefully, that we will just remember for the rest of our life.
Hopefully so. And
Absolutely.
that FA Cup game, another chance for potentially winning some sort of silverware as well. West Ham, we've only got, 6 days to wait then until then. So really looking forward to that.
Furthest I ever got with this football club was a quarter-final against West Ham. We got beat 1-0 at West Ham. We had just drawn 2-2 about 10 days prior to that. We were 2-0 up, and Graham Taylor blamed me for the draw. Because I get 2 goals, and he said I should have got 3, and we drew 2-2. And we went up there the midweek. It might have been 2-1. I think Platty might have scored a goal. And we got beat 2-1 in a howling gale. And I was so disappointed because I really thought I might get a little cup run with this club, but it never quite happened. So it'd be great.
Learn the lessons then.
Well,
current team.
in a roundabout way, I was going to say that hopefully we'll beat West Ham
Yeah.
because the game's here, and we'll be in the next round, and that would be just lovely.
You and I will both be there then for that game.
Absolutely.
I was really looking forward to it anyway, but now I'm doubly looking forward to it.
Our
Going
100
there on the back of a win.
Yeah, and not only that, it's the 150th celebration anniversary of Aston Villa being 150 years old, way back from Mr. William McGregor, who was a Scot, by the way. He was a Scot.
It's just in the blood, isn't it, at Villa?
Kind of. Yeah, so there's plenty to look forward to. We can deep breath now. Easy, not easy. Deep breath as in relax. Be thankful of the 3 points today. Recover. And then let's go again Friday.
Yeah, we've got so much planned, haven't we? And as I said in our pre-match show, if you can't make it to Villa Park, where loads is planned for the FA Cup tie, then make sure you tune in to our show because we've got loads planned for you. But that pretty much wraps up this game. Anyway, win for Villa, ideal. Thank
you, Kate. It's been absolutely brilliant. Like I say, Happy New Year, everybody. And it's a wonderful 3 points, and everybody can just...
That's how I feel. All of us feel.
So much for dry January after the victory.
We'll see how that fares then. Stay tuned for Friday's show when we find out how Alan fared post this game. But another 3 points for Villa. Thank you to Alan for your help and for sticking around then for this show as well. Thank you to you for watching. Up the Villa.